Hi, I'm Kristen Anderson, Senior Program Manager at Raising a Reader. And today I am here to give you a very short introduction to implementing the program in your classroom. Uh, what I want to do in this short presentation is to equip you with a clear understanding of how to implement your program and sustain your program. This is designed for teachers who perhaps have never done the program, inherited classroom materials that you're not quite sure what to do with, or perhaps you have been doing it for a while and just want a refresher on how the program works. For more in-depth understanding of the methodology and the scope, you can visit our website, and also there is a implementer manual that should have come with your materials. It's a red binder and it'll say implementer manual on it. And this is where we really spell out in detail, basically spoon feeding the step-by-step instructions on how to implement the various parts of the program. So lots of helpful information on that. And all of these things, even if you can't find your manual, are available on our website. We've taken every section and made that available online. So program overview. So Raising a Reader. Our mission and motto is that we want to help families develop, practice, and maintain at-home literacy habits. And everything that we do will attach itself to one of these core parts of our model. So we develop these reading practices by helping families share books with their kids, giving them the tools, the bags and the books that go home. Then we encourage folks to practice that by that weekly rotation that you're going to hear more about. And then we'll finish up the training with how we keep those practices going by maintaining practices through the library connection. All right, next slide. So program aims. First and foremost, people say, oh, you're a literacy program. Well, really what we are is we're a family engagement program. Our aim is to get families together, reading, sharing, and help you as an implementer or teacher make that homeschool connection with your families. So first and foremost, family engagement. And as we know, research shows that families that read together have long-lasting bonds, and those efforts that are put into early literacy at those young ages really prove to be instrumental in long-term success. The second aim of the program is healthy brain development. Working with those kids 0 to 8 years old, we are in a prime place of their development where we can really make an impact. So we want to give them as many opportunities for sharing books, building vocabulary, building critical thinking skills, and doing that serve and return type of engagement while reading books. The third aim for Raising a Reader is early literacy and language development. We are aligned with Common Core standards for a lot of areas on print knowledge and parent engagement, and several other Common Core standards. And the fourth is intrinsic reading motivation. Our aim is not really to teach kids how to read, it is to teach them how to love reading. And we really want these books that go home to be something that inspires joy and is creating long-term memories about a positive experience with reading. So how do we do this? So Raising a Reader is a take-home book bag program that encourages families to celebrate reading together and fall in love with books. It works best when it's part of your classroom curriculum and attached to your family engagement strategy. But basically what most people know us for is that, oh, the red book bag program where the bags get rotated on a weekly basis. So yes, so how does that bag rotation work? Well, in our preschool ages, there's going to be 4 different books in every bag. In our school age program, there's 3 books in every bag. We ask that you only use Raising a Reader books in the Raising a Reader bags, and you'll note those. There's a sticker on those. We ask that you do not substitute other books. You'll find that our books are absolutely amazing, and they're curated, and we don't like to mix and match, and it's the quality of our brand that's really at stake. So only use Raising a Reader books, please. So how do you get ready? How do you get set up? So the books will be, if you walk into a classroom that already has them, you'll find that they're already in their red bags. It's really important that you find a place in your classroom that those are their home. And that might be in a bin or a tub or a cubby, but setting up your bags in your classroom, and we'll go into a little bit further on how you assemble those bags if they're not already put together and tagged. But then the second part is you have to think about how you are going to rotate your bags and get those into the homes of kids, and most importantly, how you get them back. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. It's really important that you incorporate Raising a Reader into your curriculum. Whether you're, as a teacher, you're reading books out of the bag during story time, so it makes that connection for them, but it shouldn't be just this standalone program that's kind of an after-school program or an afterthought. And then we'll talk a little bit about how you can implement things that are going to help reduce your loss and damage to materials. So number one, how do you rotate your bags? So there's no one way to do it. There are several tools that we provide. So you can use some of ours, or if you have something that you've seen or want to implement, that's fine. We have two things that are the most popular. The pocket chart is great. It goes on the wall, and it is, in fact, in this slide before, there was a picture of the pocket chart. You can see that there in that slide. So the pocket chart has the numbered pockets already, and you can match those with the bags. And the way it works is that every child gets to take home a different bag every week. And so you put their cards, kind of like a library checkout system, and each child has their own library card, if you will, and it goes into their pocket correlating to the bag that they have that week. And then, so they take bag number 2 home that week, and then when they return it the following week, they can move their card to pocket number 3 and work their way through. It doesn't matter that you go in order, but it is really important that the children get different bags every week. And what we hope is that by the end of a cycle, that a child will have had the opportunity to read with their family 75 to 100 different books throughout a cycle. Here again, if you have small classrooms or you're a home visitor, you can adapt and adjust this schedule for any way that suits your families. But the idea in the big picture is that we just want kids to be exposed to as many books as possible through the rotation system of the year, throughout the year. The other way a lot of folks do it is, you'll see down below in this slide that there's a checkout, just a kind of a spreadsheet, and you can keep track of who has what and when they put it out and when they returned. So several ways to do it. And all of these tools, at least the printouts, are available on our online affiliate network. But before those bags go home, it is really important as a teacher to get those kids excited and prepared about the books. And we always say here at Raising a Reader that the child drives the process. And we know as adults that when we are motivated to do something, that's the way to change behavior. It's not when someone tells you, oh, you should go drink more water, you should drink less coffee, go to the gym, whatever those things are. Someone telling you that you should change your behavior doesn't work. It's really when it's an internal motivation. And so this is what we're trying to do, is get kids excited about those bags, get excited about reading. And so as the teacher, there's fun ways that you can get the kids excited by introducing the program in the class. We include in your materials a guide on how to safely care for the bags and the books, and it's about keeping your hands clean and keeping the bags clean and keeping them in a special place. So there's some tip sheets that we recommend that you use before kids start taking the bags home. But most important thing is get the kids excited, get them on board with taking those bags home. And then also too, as you work with your teachers in your classroom or your school, it's really important that all teachers are on board with this same rotation process. It's really a little bit confusing if one teacher sends them home on a Monday and another one sends them home on a Tuesday. It sends kind of mixed messages. And what I will say regarding the rotation process is that the most common way for folks to do a bag rotation is to send the bags home on a Thursday, and then they can stay home with the families over the weekend, and then on the following Monday, kids get a reminder, hey, guess what? Tuesday is our day to return the bags. And then they come back in on a Tuesday, and then if you have an 8 or 15 or so minutes, it's best to check in the bags, make sure all the materials are there and ready for the next person to go out. And then, so if you check your materials on a Wednesday, they'll be ready to go on the next Thursday for the next rotation. Again, we have a video about this on our YouTube page, so I don't have time in our condensed version here to really go into it, but look for the video or call one of us at the Raising Reader office. Some other ideas for getting kids excited. Some sites do things like there's a story bear that goes home with a particular bag, and a child gets to read with their story bear and then come back and do a kind of an oral report on what happened with the story bear. So that's just one idea. There's so many ways that people incorporate just kind of fun and novel ways to get kids excited. So how do we manage loss? We know we've got kids, right? And kids are gonna lose things and get things dirty and forget them on the bus or on the playground. So what we really wanna do is make a consistency about your rotation. I just mentioned that it's best when a whole site or a whole school uses the same days for going out and returning. So that's consistent. That some folks put signs up when it's hey, don't forget, Tuesday is the return day, and then they put that sign up and have a bin by the door so kids can just put return their bags back. Another way to get kids to try to remember their best to return the bags is doing incentives. I have one teacher who said, oh yeah, for every time a kid returned it on the given Tuesday, they got a ticket. And if you built up so many tickets, you got to have lunch with the teacher. And just sit, bring your own lunch, but just have lunch with the teacher. And she said it worked. They always wanted to bring their bags back, and they always wanted to save their tickets to have lunch with the teacher. So creative ways like that are ways to keep your kids getting the bags back. And we do recommend that if you are going to close the school for a couple of weeks during holiday period, that you bring the bags back in. We all know that as we get towards the end of the year or holidays and schedules start getting wonky, that's when things start getting lost because the normal routine is upset. So keep your bags close to home once you get to the holiday period. All right, so that's how we rotate bags. It's up to you, but once a week is the preferred implementation method. And again, no non-Raising Reader books in the bags. And if you have questions or want more tips, you look online for some of our videos for that. The next section I'm going to delve into is engaging families. So again, Raising a Reader, we say that we want to help families develop, practice, and maintain these at-home literacy habits. And so giving books and sending books home is one thing, and that's terrific. But we want parents to really feel like, hey, I know how to share these books with my kids. I feel confident about this. I want to make this fun. And so what we want to do is make sure that parents know that what the Raising a Reader program is about. Why are these red bags coming home? What am I supposed to do with them? So we have three or more really touch points for parents, where opportunities to connect with parents and get them on board. So the first is a kickoff orientation. Before the books go home, we really recommend that you either introduce the program at a back to school night, or a kinder orientation, or some sort of parent connection. So there should be a parent orientation before the bags go home. And then, and I'll talk about these in a little bit more detail, but the other options that we have for developing those skills are parent workshops. And they can be small or short or individualized. Again, there's a lot of ways to reach out to parents, but I'll share with you the materials that we have that you can use to reach out to parents. And then the third thing we have is, in every bag, if you have older bags, you'll find a DVD. Now we just recommend that you look on our website for it, but there's a 13-minute Read With Me video. And this has been around for a long time. It's not new, but the messaging is gold, and it's evergreen, because it is really a peer-to-peer video about how sharing books with your children is fun and engaging, and it doesn't have to be hard, and it's really kind of takes some of the, I think, stigma or fear out of reading books with your kids. So that video, it may be in your bag already as a hard DVD, which a lot of people don't have DVD players anymore, but the video is also available on our website. So kickoff orientation, before you begin, these are the 3 buckets that should be covered. Again, I mentioned that the manual has everything in detail. We've got an outline, we've got the script, we have everything written out for you in that RAR Implementer manual, so take a look at that. But if you want to be creative and just kind of make your own flavor of an orientation, the things that should be covered is the benefits of reading aloud. Why is it so important for families to be sharing books and cuddling and spending that precious time together on a daily basis, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, helping families know why it's important to read to your kids and what benefits they're gaining, and how that will translate into long-term school success. So that's number 1 that should be covered. Number 2, nuts and bolts of Raising a Reader. The bags are coming home. Then they need to be returned. They need to be returned. These aren't gifts. So just kind of how your system is going to work at the school. And then the third thing that should be covered is a strategy for how to start that book sharing process. And I recommend a picture walk. It's the most universal way to share a book. You can do it across languages. You can do it if you can read the words on the page. If you can't read them, sitting down and just talking about the pictures is a perfectly wonderful way to share a book with a child. So that is what we recommend for kind of the toolkit for parents before they get their first, the first bag goes home. So that's at the beginning of the year. And then throughout the year, we encourage at least 2 more parent touch points. And these can be woven into things that you're already doing. Maybe you have a a parent orientation, or like parent conference nights, if you want to do a little workshop then. But you might have like the hoedown or Halloween parade, or something where families are already coming to your site. Incorporate something in that. There's always ways to weave just a little bit of literacy development in some of these activities. So, but if you want to go kind of a more traditional route, we've got a ton of resources online. So our most popular are our parent engagement workshop series, and you can see here we have workshops on asking good questions, expanding on child's answers, recall and prediction, and making connections. And what we offer online, you can download these, are again a perfectly outlined step-by-step process on how to give these workshops. They also come, they're bilingual. The workshops are bilingual, or written in bilingual text, and then we have handouts that are also bilingual. So those are the 4 parent workshops. But what we also have just received is online, these workshops, but given by someone else, someone who's already done it and taped themselves. So those are also now available on our on our website. And there's not all of these, but I think 3 of these are available. So it could be something you send home, or you could do a Zoom meeting with everybody there and play this video for them. So again, lots of ways to be creative. But the main point is that we want parents to feel like they're engaged, involved, and sharing in the learning process on how their books sharing strategies can make that time with their child more fun and more educational. So here's just a couple of examples of some sites that did just super creative things. One did a Frozen theme, and they created a winter wonderland and had fake snow with a big, it was a mound of styrofoam, which is basically fake snow. And kids got to dive in and find a book and share it with their parents. And then they had an Olaf cake, and so it was just a really fun activity. And of course, when kids heard that there was an Olaf Frozen event at the school, they made their parents go because they wanted to enjoy that and have fun. So a little bit of fun can usually result in a much higher attendance rate. And again, we have so many examples. I could go on forever, but if look on our website, we've got more examples. So other opportunities for training parents. Our RAR YouTube page has some fabulous 2-minute videos of demonstrating the skills that we just mentioned. And so it shows parents with kids demonstrating the skills that we talked about. And this is great if you're doing say a text to your families every week, and you just want to include, hey, check out this video, check out this this quick resource. Look at our YouTube page for some of these really wonderful 2-minute videos. And then another way is just one-on-ones with families. If you have parent-teacher nights, or an opportunity to meet with families, discussing and modeling shared reading activities is another great way. So the third part of our model, again, going back to the develop, practice, and maintain. How do we maintain these wonderful practices that we have started throughout the year? Because the book bags are going to stay in the classroom, and those kids are going to move on to the next grade or the next level. And so how do we keep that book sharing practice going? And that's where the library connection comes in. Again, there's a lot of flexibility with this. In a perfect world, if kids can do a field trip to the library and meet the librarian and get an orientation and a library card, that is the most wonderful way to really cement that connection with the library. But if that's not possible, you can have the librarian come to your site, or if it's a mobile library. But however you decide to do it, the most important thing is for families to know that there's always a library somewhere, if they're in the vicinity, where they can go and get books and continue the wonderful process that they just started. And here's, if in your materials you see these blue bags, that's what those are for. These are the blue, well, it says My Library Book Bag. And this is the incentive that we give to kids at the end of the year for being such a good reader and loving books. So if you have blue bags or yours were given away and you have the funding to replace those red or blue bags, that's what those are for, is just a lovely incentive and a nice way to keep a visual in the house to say, oh, Mom, Dad, let's go to the library, let's go get some more books. So that's what the blue library bags are for. And here again, more examples of super creative affiliates who did a haunted library event, and it just brought families out in droves to the library to get to know the library. I know another site did an Easter egg hunt throughout the library, and again, the doors, people were bursting out the doors. It was a really, really well attended event. So the materials, you may have your materials, as I mentioned, already assembled and you have your bags and everything's ready to go. But if you are a new expansion classroom and your books just arrive in boxes and you think, well, what am I supposed to do with these? I'm going to go over just a couple things to keep in mind. Is that the bags and the tags and the books will all just be in separate parts of your boxes, and they all need to be put together to create your library. So just some assembly tips is that you'll want to number your bags, because that's how you really kind of keep track of what's in what bag and who's had what bag. So numbering your bags, number one. Number two, there's going to be a tag that comes in your materials for every bag, and it's really helpful if you put the names of the titles on that bag, or I have some sites that just put the titles down and take a picture of them, and then they put that picture on the tag, which is brilliant, really, because that visual of, I need the 3 books, the 4 books, where are they? It's Tuesday, I've got to bring my bag back. And so having that visual on the tag to know what you're looking for is really helpful. Color coding the bags. All your bags are going to be red, and if you've got 6 classrooms and they all are numbered 1 to 25, it might be a little difficult to keep track of who's in Miss Sawyer's classroom and this one was Mr. Murdoch's classroom. So if each classroom has a different colored dot on their tag, you'll know which bags belong to which classroom. So if you have time or the need to color code your bags, that's a good step. And one thing to remember as you're assembling your bags or your book bags is that the idea is that there's 4 different books or 3 different books in every bag. And for example, if you have ordered, there's a STEM set and a Spanish set and an English set, and they come in their own unique packages. You don't want to put 3 English books in one bag or 3 STEM books in one bag. It's really best to just mix them up and make a potpourri. So when a child takes home bag number 5, there's 1 STEM book, 1 Spanish bilingual book, 1 English book. The idea is that we mix them all up together so everyone gets a variety. So that's a lot of tips. The easiest way to maybe do it is that, of course, we have a video that you can watch, and that was me a couple years ago, helping a site put together their bags. So again, look on our YouTube page. We've got a lot of really helpful videos on there. All right. The last section we have is program evaluation. If you are a site that loves data, we love data. Data is is wonderful. In fact, I didn't mention, but we are an evidence-based program, and we've got 38 independent evaluations that show that Raising a Reader makes a difference in nurturing and developing at-home literacy habits with families. And so if you want to conduct an evaluation on your site to make sure that all the time and effort you're putting into this program is making a difference in families, or perhaps you're going to be applying for a grant and you want more Raising a Reader materials and you want to prove the efficacy of this program, that's another reason to do evaluation. So, or asking for district funding or budgets, or all of those things are really wonderful ways to use your data. So what we have created is just a few different tools that you can use if you don't have your own. One, we have a pre-post evaluation tool that you can give to families and have them. It's a one-time only self-evaluation that is done at the end of the year. And then you can enter all that information in this pre-populated, beautiful spreadsheet that just spits out all the data at the end for you. So that's again on our website. Another way is focus groups. If you want to, get a couple parents together and ask them how their experience was or how it can be better, that's another way. And then testimonials and anecdotal records are always great. Pictures, success stories, those always go a long way when you're writing a grant and can demonstrate one family's personal experience with the Raising a Reader program. So couple ideas for you on evaluation. And then my last slide is just about Raising a Reader resources. We are an affiliate network, and what that means is that once you're in our network, you're part of our family, and it's not just something that you went to the store and bought and now you're on your own. You are part of our family, part of our network. The first place to go for resources is our online affiliate network. That is where I mentioned all the evaluations, the workshops, everything is on that network. So if you can't find it, let one of us know and we can help maybe navigate for you. The second thing I mentioned is our RAR YouTube page. And again, lots of read alouds, lots of how-to videos that go along with the components of the program. Our customer service team, you can, if you know who your portfolio manager is, feel free to call that person. And then another way we reach out is our monthly bookmark. It's kind of our monthly newsletter. You'll get updates and kind of really what's going on and what's new. So that's it. That is a lot of information in a really short time, but I hope that gives you some sort of background on how the Raising a Reader program works, how you can get it started, how you can do outreach with your families, rotate your bags, visit the library, evaluate your program. Again, we're always here if you have questions. So happy book rotating, and thank you so much for your time.